Reborn as a snake, turning into a dragon. Chapter 31. The magistrate's daughter knew that the two of them had an affair. Feeling resentful, he sent people everywhere to slander her reputation. What a pair of jade arms can be used as a pillow for thousands of people, and a little bit of red lips can be tasted by thousands of people. Said that she was just a worn-out shoe thrown away by her husband-in-law, and said that she was inherently obscene. Day and night, privately meeting those men who were married long ago. After some rumors, she was known as a young female bodhisattva. He became a street mouse that everyone shouted and beat. The reputation is not as good as that of a brothel girl. This girl Jaia who is waiting to be married, if her reputation is ruined, her life will be ruined. I haven't done anything sinister in my life, why does this world treat me like this? After a word, he threw himself into the river. The corpse floated in the river for more than 10 days. Resentment breeds. The female bodhisattva became a female ghost. Lin Mu looked at the zombie woman in the black coffin indifferently. Her face is exquisite and beautiful, and her temperament is graceful. It's hard to connect her with the female ghost who yelled, "You die, you die." But when you know all kinds of things that the other party has experienced during his lifetime, it seems to understand again. Understand that the other party should be in that crazy state. To understand it should be full of resentment towards this world. The flesh body becomes a demon, a female Jaia, a female bodhisattva, a female ghost, and a female zombie. In the end, that would be her final ending. Zombies are a very special species, the sage said, there is no one who can be taught. However, zombies are not humans, demons, or ghosts, and they belong to the category of existence that humans hate and ghosts hate. If there is wind, rain, thunder and lightning, the thunder in the sky, the first to strike, is the zombie. Lin Mu now faces a difficult problem, that is, how to deal with the zombie woman in the coffin. It stands to reason that it should be burned with flames. After all, it is unacceptable in the world. But I don't know why. As soon as Lin Mu had a little thought of killing, the words that Nu Jiaowei threw into the river and left behind appeared in his mind. I haven't done anything sinister in my life, why does this world treat me like this? Well, if the world doesn't treat you kindly, I, the snake, will treat you kindly. Wolongtan is so big that it can accommodate this coffin. As long as you don't wake up, you will be raised as a vegetable. After Lin Mu figured it out, he fell into the coffin from the air and landed on the body of the zombie woman. The body of 3 feet Shu entrenched down. Treat the female zombie as a bed. Looking up at the sky, there is a bright galaxy. However, one is extremely yin and the other is extremely evil, and they are in the same room. The temperature in the coffin was colder than an ice cellar. Suddenly, the zombie woman's eyelashes trembled, and her complexion turned rosy. The snake-like breath that Lin Mu exuded invisibly made him feel very comfortable. In a blink of an eye, the night passed. After dawn, the panorama of Wolongtan was exposed in front of Lin Mu. I saw a large waterfall with a thickness of several dozen circumferences, like an angry silver dragon, swooping down from the midair and hitting the center of the pool. The sound of the water was booming, gusts of wind were stirred up, and torrential rain like hail was gushed out. Lin Mu glanced at the sleeping zombie woman, who floated out of the coffin. He plunged into the pool of water. As a future training place, it is necessary for Lin Mu to have a good understanding of the overall structure of Wolongtan. What is the underwater world, we must also understand clearly. In the future, an underwater dragon palace may be built below. Afterwards, Lin Mu swam under the pool for a long time. He continued to dive again, and soon found a dark river at the deepest point. He had heard of the dark river a long time ago. Just the dark river leading there. He needs to practice it himself. Lin Mu drifted along the dark river. The dark river seemed to have no end, and the environment was pitch black. When Lin Mu saw the light, he drilled out of a rock crevice. Surrounded by a lot of half-person high aquatic plants. This underwater aura is not weaker than my Longtan. Lin Mu was secretly surprised. At this time, a dazzling fish with silver scales all over its body swam gracefully in front of Lin Mu, the snake. Koi carp. The appearance is really gratifying, and the good-looking one makes this snake full of appetite. Click. Lin Mu is clearly a small snake. With one mouth, it turns into the mouth of an abyss. Instantly swallowed that beautiful koi into his stomach. Immediately, a hot current appeared in the body, irrigating the whole body. Dimly, Lin Mu noticed that his Taoism was showing signs of growth. 10 years. Lin Mu was very surprised. The koi just now gave him more than 10 years of Taoism. This is not a fish, but a panacea for swimming. From this point of view, the koi should be the so-called spirit fish. If you eat one, you will increase your morality for 10 years, and if you eat 10, you will gain 100 years. If you eat 100 sticks, you will have 1,000 years of cultivation. This is no slower than Lin Mu's practice of speeding up time 10,000 times. Lin Mu's snake eyes are shining brightly. This is undoubtedly an excellent place to clear the wild and level up. So what else is there to say? Immediately, Lin Mu frantically looked for spirit fish nearby to devour. Who can refuse this kind of temptation after eating one for at least 10 years? But what Lin Mu didn't know was that these spirit fish were not wild. Rather, they were bred by humans. After Lin Mu swallowed the 5th spirit fish, his cultivation level increased by 60 years. It's even more fun. It satisfies the appetite and gains cultivation. Is there anything more satisfying than this in the world? As Lin Mu kept catching spirit fish, when he swam past the group of aquatic plants, in a blink of an eye, I miraculously saw an underwater palace. It is bright and bright. Although the palace cannot be said to be so magnificent and majestic. But it doesn't look like one side. Standing on the bottom of the water, surrounded by coral, is really beautiful. It almost made Lin Mu think it was an underwater dragon palace. Where is this underwater? Why is there a spirit fish and an underwater palace? What Lin Mu can be sure of is that he should have broken into the territory of a certain aquarium boss. From the looks of it, he is definitely not comparable to the newly promoted Snake King. Later, Lin Mu discovered that beside the underwater palace, there was actually a small stone house. Although it looks far inferior to the palace, it is quite large. He swam towards the small stone house, sneaking a closer look. Seeing this, his eyes immediately lit up. I saw that inside the small stone house, it was full of spirit fish. These spirit fish are floating neatly, and each scale is shining brightly. Like the stars under the starry sky, it is very beautiful. The snake sheds its skin and the fish dephosphorizes, the experience gained by Lin Mu swallowing 5 spirit fish. The more times these spirit fish shed their scales, the more spiritual they will be, and the more they will increase their cultivation after swallowing them. Lin Mu's pair of thieves' eyes glanced around, looking for any spirit fish in the stone house. They have taken off their scales several times, and swallowing one can give him a few decades of improvement. High-grade spirit fish. His golden snake eyes were full of greed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lin Mu counted patiently, and there were hundreds of high-quality spirit fish in the stone house. Given time, there are those who can become fine. The spirit fish in this room gave Lin Mu a feeling of being stunned by happiness. If this snake swallows all of this, he will easily increase his cultivation base for thousands of years. He has reached the peak of his snake life before leaving the flood. Strange, what are these spirit fishes doing in the stone house? They are neatly arranged one by one, and they are as rigorous as a meeting. Lin Mu calmed down and looked in front of Lin Yu. Seeing this, he was even more surprised, and even made him think that he was delusional. He saw a beautiful girl in a purple gauze dress, with a fairy-like temperament standing in front of the group of spirit fish, pointing fingers and talking non-stop. Even though she was underwater, it didn't affect the girl's speech at all. The appearance of the zombie woman has already made Lin Mu feel very beautiful. But the beauty of the underwater fairy in front of her is not inferior at all. It seems that this girl is the owner of this place. It can transform into a demon, sit in an underwater palace, and raise a group of spirit fish. Could it be the Dragon Clan? Lin Mu guessed in his heart. What's even more unbelievable is that Lin Mu felt that the other party seemed to be taking a lesson openly. The layout of the entire stone house is very similar to a human classroom. She stood in front of the blackboard like a teacher, eloquent. That attitude, that temperament. It is simply a rising star in academia. Looks good. Lin Mu listened curiously. After listening for a long time, he understood. To put it simply, the content of the woman's lecture was discussing how a fish can understand its thoughts, develop its intelligence, and become a fish spirit with achievements. That class was really full of passion and enthusiasm. If it weren't for being in the water, you might have seen her spitting stars flying around. Lin Mu, the snake, was a little fascinated, and almost wanted to applaud each other. Too bad he doesn't have hands. Judging from the current situation, Yanqing's underwater spirit fish are all cultivated in this way. Come out. The girl who was giving lectures in a professional way suddenly swept away towards the outside of the stone house. A pair of watery eyes are as bright as stars. As the master of the water, if there is any strange breath in the water, don't try to escape her eyes. Seeing that she was discovered, Lin Mu said nothing. With a twist, it shot out like a sharp underwater arrow. Mainly because of a guilty conscience. After all, I just ate the spirit fish that others worked so hard to cultivate. Where to go? The girl in purple reacted quickly and appeared outside the stone house in an instant. With a gesture of his hand, a giant catfish swam over. She jumped on the catfish's back and gave chase. A fast underwater chase begins. But soon, Lin Mu was still blocked by a giant catfish. The girl in purple riding on the back of the giant catfish saw that the intruder was actually a delicate snake. His expression was slightly surprised. Little snake spirit. Not small. Lin Mu back. The girl's eyes were contemptuous, but she was only 3 feet away, and she was still stubborn. Lin Mu released his terrifying aura of the Snake King. A phantom of a giant snake manifested above his head, roaring like thunder. Immediately, the water flowed quickly. The girl in purple was shocked immediately, and the giant catfish she was riding on showed even more uneasy and fearful emotions. Such a strong snake demon spirit, is it possible that your excellency is the new Snake King of Tianqing Mountain? The purple-clothed girl then asked without changing her expression. Good eyesight, Lin Mu is tantamount to admitting his identity. The purple-clothed girl took a deep look at Lin Mu, and asked lightly, Snake King, what kind of conspiracy did you sneak into my Yunhu Lake? Could it be that you fell in love with my Yunhu Lake, a place of water, and came to provoke you? Cloud Lake. Beishan Cloud Lake. A look of surprise flashed in Lin Mu's eyes. He drifted along the underground river of Wolongtan, how could he come to Yunhu Lake in Beishan? It turns out that the lake and the pool are connected. If this is the case, the identity of the girl in front of him will be revealed. She is not the dragon that Lin Mu guessed before. It is the god of the lake who is honored by the people at the foot of the mountain, and his body is a carp that has become a spirit. He is a demon spirit who walks the right path. Lin Mu couldn't imagine the famous owner of Yunhu Lake, who is respected by the people as the god of the lake. It turned out to be such a flowery girl. In this world, if a demon wants to become a human being, his Taoism needs to reach more than 10,000 years. Still have to cross the catastrophe. Only in this way can it be demonized. With real human flesh and blood. Even if you fight, even if you are injured, you will not manifest your original form. Only death will. The other is to use illusion. But the illusion of becoming a person is nothing more than a mirage. It is a false form. Casually exercising vigorously will expose the body. Lin Mu looked at the girl's physical body, it didn't look like it was transformed by illusion. Otherwise, he would not have guessed that the other party was a dragon clan. But the other party doesn't look like a boss with 10,000 years of cultivation. Otherwise, it should give Lin Mu a strong sense of oppression. What Lin Mu doesn't know is that the demon form also has special conditions. Aquarium creatures, especially fish, shed their scales once every 10 years after they become spiritually enlightened. Shedding scales a full 100 times, 100 times is perfect, and with 1,000 years of cultivation, she can turn into a demon. Transformation is successful, alone. From then on, the sky and the earth are big, and you can go there. You don't need to live in a water area and watch the sky from a well. The owner of the cloud lake in front of him has shed his scales and achieved perfection 100 times many years ago. So as to do good deeds. Therefore, there is the title of Lake God, which is very famous. Even in the capital of the human race, they can all scream loudly. Don't get me wrong, I'm lost. I got lost here. I didn't know this was Yunhu before. Lin Mu told the truth. Snort. She snorted coldly. Obviously, she didn't believe such words. Her Cloud Lake Zongtiandi spiritual energy, Tianqing Mountain does not know how many monsters covet this blessed land of water. There are often demons with malicious intentions who come to try. But even if the other party didn't admit it, she was helpless. After all, the newly promoted Snake King has gained a lot of fame recently. It is said that he can control thunder and lightning, call wind and rain, and even the court in Kyoto was alarmed. A warrant for arresting snakes was issued. She didn't want to get in trouble either. It turns out that Your Excellency the Snake King is lost, so please leave Yanu Lake. There will be a period later. Lin Mu didn't talk nonsense, and was about to go ashore and leave. That's why he went ashore, because he didn't want to reveal the secret of the dark river. The girl in purple stared at Lin Mu as she left, but suddenly a big fish swam up to her, spitting bubbles. Her face changed suddenly, she opened her mouth and shouted, "Wait." Lin Mu turned to look at her suspiciously. The other party said fiercely, "Damn snake, you dare to steal my spirit fish." As soon as the words fell, Lin Mu shot forward with a whoosh. Without a trace. "Asshole, I'm not done with you." Under her temperament like a fairy, her pink lips are pouting angrily, and she looks extremely attractive. Unfortunately, Lin Mu couldn't see it. After Lin Mu completely disappeared in Yunhu Lake, the purple girl looked thoughtful. "I didn't expect that the newly promoted Snake King of the Snake Clan has a meritorious body protection, but since he has merits and virtues, how could he be wanted by the court?" The giant catfish below him was gurgling and bubbling, as if talking about something. "You said that snake was scary." The purple girl smiled. "No matter how scary it is, I'm afraid it won't last long." Emperor Mingxuan made a decree to kill the demons and let the immortals join hands to take the snake. The Snake King, who has been practiced for thousands of years, has too shallow foundation and won't be able to jump for a few days. Up. After finishing speaking, she went back to continue teaching. After returning to Wolongtan in Nanshan from Yunhu Lake in Beishan, Lin Mu glanced at the zombie woman in the coffin. Seeing that the other party is still asleep, there is no sign of waking up. But that jet black long hair, fluffy white skin, and that beautiful little face. It made Lin Mu take a few extra glances. If there is no looming evil spirit on the other party, it's really like the fairy in the painting walking into the mortal world. Just keep sleeping. Lin Mu put up a vase for himself to enjoy. It would be troublesome for the zombie woman to wake up. Afterwards, Lin Mu plunged into the bottom of the pool, and started his 10,000 times accelerated practice. It is only 3,000 years old now, it is not the time for him to act arbitrarily. The court's arrest warrant also invisibly put some psychological pressure on Lin Mu. It is necessary to leave Zhaohualong as soon as possible. Time passes like a river flowing by. In the blink of an eye, it was a month of practice. Lin Mu has easily risen for 1,000 years. In the middle, I learned a magic technique of earth evil. The way of devouring. Remarks. This technique can eat objects of any shape into the stomach, including swords, guns, swords and halberds, without any damage. This is the way of devouring, which can digest all energy and absorb it. This magical technique can be said to be tailor-made for the snake Lin Mu. Devour everything and absorb energy. It's abnormal, a bit like the beiming magic skill in martial arts novels. Absorb the opponent's skill. The difference is that there is no limit to the way of devouring. Anything can be swallowed. If he swallowed the masters of the human demon slaying division, he might be able to improve his skills a lot. Lin Mu's snake eyes flickered, and he hummed coldly in his heart. It's best not to come to the master of the demon slayer, otherwise his snake, I'm afraid it can only bite people. After this episode, Lin Mu practiced again, speeding up 10,000 times, everything disappeared without a trace. Only his strength will continue to increase. Especially spells, I have already mastered more than a dozen of them, and I practiced in the silent 2 months before. Among them, he also comprehended 7 or 8 spells and 2 supernatural powers. It should be calculated according to combat power, even though Lin Mu has only been practicing for more than 4,000 years. But his physical strength, and the means of control, can fight without fear if he has been under 10,000 years. After practicing for the next few days, Lin Mu noticed something strange. Something seemed to be calling him in the dark. That feeling became stronger and stronger as time went by. And it came from the bottom of the mountain. Knowing the arrest warrant issued by the imperial court, there is nothing necessary to do. Lin Mu is not going to go down the mountain. The feeling of being callable intensifies. It has affected his retreat. Who is calling me? Like a stick in the throat, Don't spit out fast. Lin Mu rushed out of the pool and was suspended in the sky. A pair of deep snake eyes stared down the mountain. After thinking about it several times, he still decided to go down the mountain quietly to see what happened. With his methods, even if he encounters a master demon slaying master, he can still retreat completely. To the east of the foot of Tianxing Mountain, there is a human village called Dongyong Village. The terrain of this village is even more remote than that of Taiping Village. It is said that it used to be a veritable snake-catching village. Live by catching snakes. Later, for some reason, he changed his course and changed his flag. Not only did he not catch snakes, he also took the snake as a totem and believed in the Snake King in the mountains. Almost every household will set up the longevity card of the Snake King at home. Incense is offered every day. According to the description of the older generation population, 100 years ago, there was a young man who often caught snakes on the mountain in exchange for money. Subsidize the family. Once, I caught snakes on the mountain as usual, and I went a little deeper without knowing it. I met a monster. It was a pig demon with enlightened intelligence. Can walk upright. It has black hair all over, 2 sharp fangs are exposed, and the throat is sealed with blood. Young people feel that they are dead. Ordinary people will definitely die when they encounter monsters. But at this time, the ground shook, and a giant python snaked out of the forest. Once the sheku is opened, the pig demon will no longer exist. Originally, the young man thought that he would also be eaten by this terrifyingly large python. But the other party just gave him a few deep glances with a pair of vertical pupils. Turn around and leave. The young man saved his life and never caught snakes again. He even publicized his deeds in the village, trying to prevent everyone from going into the mountains to catch snakes. But no one listened. Until the summer of one year. There was an abnormal amount of rain that year, and it rained endlessly, and the clouds of lead gray were boundless. Since the gate of Dongyong village is facing the river, the rainwater has increased the water level. The heavy rain poured down, and the river at the gate of the village became a rushing and raging river. What is even more frightening is that the torrents of Tianxing Mountain fell from the sky. The flood is surging, submerging everything with the terrible power of nature. The yellow flood roared, mixed with broken branches and gravel, pouring down. The villagers were utterly desperate. The young man did not expect that he would not die in the hands of the pig demon, nor be swallowed by the giant python. In the end, he will die in the hands of the natural flood. In desperation, the young man saw a huge monster winding out of the flood. It broke through the water, soared straight up, and roared towards the dark cloud-enclosed sky. When the magic happened, the cloud layer split at this moment, and a crack opened in the thick black cloud. The blue sky behind was exposed, and the sun shone abruptly. The heavy rain is stopping, the mountain torrents are receding, and all disasters are fleeting. The young man recognized the giant mountain python that had saved his life from the pig demon. The other party took another deep look at it. The eyes on the snake's head are dazzling golden, brighter than the sun. There is also a king character mark on the forehead. Since then, no one in Dongyong village has caught snakes, and all believe in the Snake King in the mountains. Because the life of the whole village was given by the Snake King. It can be described as reborn parents. Dongyong village began to build temples, and a statue of the Snake King stood on the altar, offering incense all the year round. Originally, every village had a yin god dispatched by the town god's temple stationed there. But the Snake King temple in Dongyong village still stands. When the yin god comes, they all have to leave in disgrace. Because the people in Dongyong village only believe in the Snake King. Not to mention, even if there are yin gods stationed in villages in 8 towns and miles away. He also often encounters harassment and disasters from Tianxing Mountain monsters. But Dongyong village has lived in peace since it had the Snake King temple. Until one year, the statue in the Snake King temple in Dongyong village suddenly fell down. Smash all over the place. This omen seems to indicate that the Snake King has abandoned the village. Since then, Dongyong village has never had a peaceful day. He began to be harassed, blackmailed and intimidated by the ghosts in the mountains. But even so, the villagers of Dongyong village still choose to continue to believe in the Snake King. They believe that the Snake King will be moved by their sincerity in the end, and choose to protect everyone again. After 100 years, batch after batch of old people died, but the Snake King temple has been standing still. Even the yin shendu dispatched by the town god's temple couldn't penetrate. Dongyong village seems to have become determined after eating the weight, and only believes in the totem of the Snake King. For other gods, even if you have the ability to move mountains and seas, it will not work. Monsters caused chaos, ghosts claimed their lives, stumbled, and Dongyong village survived. Until recently, a pregnant woman with a big belly came to Dongyong village. From the moment the pregnant woman stepped into the village, the real disaster of destroying the village also came. Pregnant women who are pregnant with Lugia are not demons, ghosts, or demons, but a very normal human woman. She has an elegant face and a little bit of beauty. Originally, people in Dongyong village thought that this woman was abandoned by her jerk husband. Alone and homeless, only then kindly took it in. But from the day of taking him in, strange things kept happening in the village. The poultry raised by each household disappeared for no reason, and only blood was left on the scene. Even later, even the native dogs who guarded the courtyard began to disappear. If things go on like this, people panic. Everyone thought it might be caused by the yellow skin in the mountains. But until the people in the village jointly set up a poultry trap. Want to capture the culprit. Unexpectedly, it was the pregnant woman who was pregnant with Lugia who was caught in the end. When everyone saw the pregnant woman, she was biting the neck of a chicken to suck blood. His expression was extremely ferocious. A pair of eyes gleamed red. Just like a vampire. This scene terrified everyone. Looking at the pregnant woman's big belly, there is actually a cloud of black air lingering. The old man was taken aback and exclaimed, "Ghost fetus." Duan is a human woman, but she is pregnant with ghost fetuses. Ghost fetuses have always been tolerated in the world. Once born, it is the most terrifying evil spirit in the world, and it is specially looking for living people to collect debts. Quickly, kill this woman. More than a dozen young men bravely surrounded her, intending to beat the woman to death. To kill this unborn ghost in the cradle. However, the woman, who was a ghost baby, was already possessed by evil spirits and became an infinitely powerful master. Let alone a dozen young people, the whole village went together. Nor is it an opponent. If you take in the slave family, you have to raise the slave family and the child in my womb, understand? The woman made a hoarse voice, her eyes full of bloodthirsty greed. The so-called asking God is easy and giving it away is difficult. At this point, the disaster in Dongyong village began. As the belly of a pregnant woman grows day by day, her appetite is no longer satisfied with poultry. He began to focus on the boys and girls in the village. The blood of virgins, thin skin and tender flesh, unbroken yin and yang, pure blood. That side is the best tonic in the world. Gradually, every household hung white cloths and sang dirges. A woman who is pregnant with a ghost is more terrifying than the ghosts in the mountains. Under her mother's love, there were bloodstains and corpses all over the field. It is greed and blood that human nature has never had. Under normal circumstances, ghost babies are rarely born smoothly. Because there are yin gods stationed in the ancestral halls of each village, even if there are ghost fetuses, they will be discovered immediately. There is no way to pretend to be born from a ghost. Even if the pregnant mother fled outside, she would still be found out. And the woman in front of her is very smart, she hid in Dongyong village with a ghost. There are thousands of villages in the suburbs, only a few without Yinshan stationed. Cha-Cha Dongyong village is one of them. In addition, Dongyong village originally believed in the totem of the Snake King and did not accept the yin god sent by the Chungwang temple. It completely offended the imperial court and Gongshan Sea. It can be said that Dongyong village has become a place outside the law. Became an abandoned existence. Let it run its course. Otherwise, if ghost fetuses appear, even if there are no yin gods in the village, as long as someone is sent to the Earth Temple to report, the matter will be resolved. Nowadays, the belly of pregnant women is getting bigger and bigger, and the population of Dongyong village is getting smaller and smaller. The whole village is anxious to follow the ants on the hot pot. Blinded. When a pregnant woman gives birth, even if a child is born, it is not over. The opposite is the real beginning of the disaster. Because the baby is a ghost, not only the whole Dongyong village will be reduced to the blood of the ghost baby. It will also affect nearby villages. The living beings are in charcoal. On this day, all the men, women and children in Dongyong village, they all gathered in the Snake King temple. Their village was abandoned by the imperial court, and there was no protection from the Yin god. All hope can only be pinned on the Snake King totem of faith. I saw a white-haired old man leaning on a cane, with a wrinkled face and a hunched body, standing in front of the snake-shaped statue in the altar. He is the village head of this village. His bones are trembling, but his eyes that have been muddy for a long time reveal incomparable determination. Master Snake King, when the flood broke out in my Dongyong village and the mountain torrents were vented, you stepped forward, looked up to the sky and roared the snake, and saved our village from water and fire. This kindness has always been there. Although we are all ignorant villagers, we also know that the kindness of a drop of water should be repaid by a spring. Dongyong village has not believed in gods or gods in the past 100 years. I only believe in Lord Snake King. The incense in the temple has never been cut off. Now, my Dongyong village is once again facing the disaster of destroying the village. A woman is pregnant with a ghost and wants to use the whole village to feed the child in her womb. The white-haired old man continued tearfully, the people in my Dongyong village are not afraid of death, they are afraid of ghost babies coming to the world. Ghost babies are born, mourning is everywhere, and the surrounding villages in 10 miles and 8 towns cannot escape this catastrophe. At that time, I, Dongyong village, will be a sinner of history. When the white-haired old man said this, he picked up 3 sticks of incense with his haggard hand and lit them. The rickety body straightened, the solemn look on his face. The villagers behind him also hurriedly lit incense. To show solemnity, immediately, cigarettes lingered in the lobby, and incense was like a cloud. Seeing that the time was ripe, the old village head held the 3 sticks of incense high above his head, and bent his knees towards the statue of the Snake King on the altar. Stomp and kneel, kneeling very hard. There was a sound on the ground. Chen Denganian, the villain, now brings all the villagers of Dongyong village to pray for the Snake King to come out of the mountain, save Dongyong village from the fire and water, and destroy the ghost babies and the cradle. The old village chief shouted like a bell. The sound was so loud that it seemed that he had exhausted all his strength. Plop, plop, plop. One by one the villagers knelt down, shouting with 3 sticks of incense above the head. Gao Shang worships the gods, and invites the Snake King to come out of the mountain. Inside the temple, incense was lingering, and everyone looked solemn, and roared in unison. The sound circled the beam for 3 feet without stopping. 100 years ago, a torrential rain poured down, floods raged in Dongyong village, mountain torrents erupted, and the whole family was about to wipe out the village. A giant serpent appeared in the flood. It descended like a mountain god and roared to the sky. The sound of the snake roared straight into the sky. The sky and the earth changed color. Afterwards, the thick black clouds cleared, the torrential rain stopped, and the mountain torrents receded. All disasters are fleeting. Now, because a baby ghost is coming, Dongyong village has once again reached the point of exterminating the village. The villagers believe that the Snake King they have believed in for generations will not really abandon them. As long as the heart is sincere, the Snake King will definitely come out for Dongyong village again. Before the 3 sticks of incense in my hand are burned out, there will be an echo. At such a solemn time, a gust of wind blew outside, and the temple shook accordingly. Everyone's eyes lit up. Could it be that, a sincere heart is a spirit? However, the wind is a cloudy wind, and when it blows, a chill goes straight to the soul from the soles of the feet. Can't help trembling all over. Clap clap. There was a sound of footsteps outside the temple. I saw a pregnant woman coming in lotus steps. Elegant demeanor, with a mother's love on her face. Only those eyes were shining with a bloodthirsty red light. My family is hungry. I searched around, but I couldn't find anyone. So you all hid in this ruined temple. When the villagers saw him and heard his voice, their expressions changed. Walking over, there was a woman with no strength to restrain the chicken. It's simply a human-eating demon crawling up from hell. Mom, I'm so scared. Some children panicked. During this period of time, there were not 1 out of 10 children in the village. The mother hurriedly hid the child behind her. Fear of being seen. Auntie, don't hide it, the servants have seen it. The woman smiled and walked towards the lobby step by step. Bitch, don't even think about harming someone. 6 or 7 villagers with hoes, sticks, and hatchets immediately formed a wall of meat. Seal the lobby door. The temptress flicked the hair on her forehead, and said bitterly, "You are so cruel, you want to starve to death the child in my slave's belly. My family is going to give birth soon, and my family needs a lot of food, do you understand?" "The last one to understand," she screamed out loudly. The whole pretty face was instantly hideous. Immediately, the temptress waved her hand towards the wall of flesh. A black ghost mist billowed away. Ah, ah, ah. 6 or 7 villagers screamed and flew upside down, vomiting blood when they fell to the ground. The blood on the ground fell into the eyes of the temptress, like delicious nectar. Her belly was flickering red. "Son, don't worry, mommy knows you're hungry." The temptress touched her big belly, stuck out her tongue and licked her lips, full of bloodthirsty. Suddenly, her hand stretched out, and an invisible suction force appeared in the air. Suddenly, a fallen villager flew away uncontrollably. The temptress opened her mouth and bit the man's throat ferociously. Blood gushed out. The picture is extremely cruel. When the villagers in the lobby saw this scene, they were as scared as petrified. As the temptress devoured people, a terrible ghostly aura in her stomach intensified. She is about to give birth, which means that the ghost baby is about to be born. The strong ghostly aura floated into the sky unscrupulously. Boom! Dark clouds pushed over from all directions, covering Dongyong village all at once. It was clearly blue sky and white sun, but in a blink of an eye it became dark. "I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry. Whether or not my precious son will be born today depends entirely on you." The temptress sucked the man dry and threw it away, and grabbed the second villager with her bare hands to suck blood. Originally, the whole village gathered at the Snake King temple to pray for the Snake King to come out of the mountain. I didn't expect to be rounded up by the temptress now. All of them could only hold their horrified eyes, watching the temptress harming everyone. She wants to take the lives of the entire village to feed her ghost child. Kneeling in front of the statue of the Snake King, the old village chief pretended to be calm, and shouted regardless, "Gaoshong worships the gods, please come out of the mountain." The word please has become the word beg. Sincerity leads to spirit. If it doesn't work, there will be no Dongyong village in the suburbs from now on. ... Suburban Earth Temple. A puff of green smoke rose from the ground, and the land god in the image of a white-haired old man manifested. He frowned and looked towards the east. The sky there was cloudy and haunted. You can tell at a glance that there are some terrible ghosts claiming your life. For the misfortune, where is the evil spirit so arrogant? It's impossible to treat my old man in this land as dead. He pinched his fingers and counted, his face darkened. Dongyong Village. This village was abandoned by the court because of its private belief in the totem of the Snake King in the mountains, leaving it to fend for itself. Even if there are monsters in trouble, the ghosts will kill you. Whether it is the officials of the Demon Slayer Division or the gods of the Immortal Division, they will turn a deaf ear to it. This is the price they have to pay for not taking the Ming court seriously. Alas, these ignorant villagers, when I asked them to demolish the Snake King temple and send Yin God to station there, they just refused to beat them to death. It's all right now, the ghost energy in the village is so strong, I'm afraid I must have encountered a 1000-year level ghost. Land Kanbaru stepped forward, and he, who should have turned a blind eye, was worried. There are many ghosts and gods in this world, and there are not a few righteous gods, but there are only a handful of gods who can be land gods. Because all land gods are parents and officials of one party, and they must be the kind of people who are virtuous and virtuous. There is a saying, the way of a university lies in clearing morality, being close to the people, and ending in perfection. The god of earth does not pursue longevity, prosperity, or cultivation. Only one side is peaceful, and the people live and work in peace and contentment. Forget it, I'll just go and have a look, I'll be idle if I'm idle. Give yourself a reasonable explanation. The land deified into green smoke and fled towards Dongyong village. The Snake King temple in Dongyong village. At the feet of the seductress lay a dozen mummified corpses whose blood had been sucked out. The mummy looked like it had been exposed to the sun for 3 days. There is no life at all. The villagers in the lobby panicked one by one, but they still held the incense sticks tightly, holding the last hope. On the other hand, the temptress, her belly is getting bigger and bigger, and ghost energy is constantly wafting out, condensed into ghost clouds in the sky. With the appearance of ghost clouds, there are countless ghost shadows coming from all directions. All of a sudden, 10,000 ghosts came to Dongyong village. Between the heaven and the earth, there was a sound of ghosts crying and howling wolves. In the village ancestral halls in 10 miles and 8 townships, there are statues gradually turning into flesh and blood. These yin gods sensed such a huge ghost energy, and they all changed their colors. But after discovering that the ghost energy came from Dongyong village, one by one jumped onto the altar again. It's none of your business to hang high. Only in a corner of the Snake King temple, a puff of green smoke came out. As soon as the land god manifested, he saw a temptress with a big belly sucking human blood. That picture is more than a bloody one that can be described. Especially the temptress belly was still shining brightly, and a child's face was looming. The land god looked intently. A small fetus with a strange smile was sitting in her womb. With its mouth open, its fangs were exposed, and a steady stream of blood flowed into its mouth. It gulps down. A ghost born into a baby. After seeing clearly, the land god was taken aback. He originally thought that Dongyong village had attracted some powerful evil spirits. Unexpectedly, things were far worse than he imagined. Even more serious. Generally, ghost fetuses are stillborn, and the baby that should have been born died before it was born. Unwilling and reluctant to leave the mother's belly, she became a ghost fetus. The condition, while dire, is not fatal. Also happens from time to time. But the god of earth looked up at the sky, the clouds were overcast, and ghosts were coming. The ghost fetus in the temptress belly completely turned into a ghost baby. Not yet born, the ghostly aura is overwhelming, frightening to hear. This means, this woman must be crazy, she actually conceived a ghost in a premeditated way. The god of land could see the fire clearly, blowing his beard and staring angrily. If it weren't for the woman who knew she was pregnant with a ghost from the beginning. Then feed on blood. It is impossible for the ghost baby in the stomach to be unborn. It has become a big climate. Obviously, this is a peerless ghost baby. Once it comes, it will be more terrifying than those 1,000-year-old ghosts. In the future, it even has the potential to become a terrifying existence at the level of the Wanian Ghost King. The land god's expression brightened. The birth of a peerless ghost baby is no longer an event in Dongyong village. It is about the safety of thousands of villages in the suburbs. If it is not handled well, it will be a waste of life and corpses everywhere. The ghost figures looting from all directions hovered in the sky. They seem very excited. Quack quack. The most potential ghost in Tianxing Mountain is about to be born. The more energy this child absorbs now, the stronger he will be born. It is possible to be a ghost king after birth, commanding the group of ghosts. If you want to become a ghost king after being born, it's not enough to just suck human blood, you also need sacrifices from us ghosts. We encountered many injustices during our lifetime, and our grievances turned into fierce ghosts after death, but it is difficult to become a great weapon in the end. If we can make a peerless ghost king come out, sacrifice it. A lot of ghostly words came out one after another, and some ghosts shot at the temptress belly actively. The fetus in the transparent belly opened its mouth with a wicked smile. The ghost image was directly swallowed by it. In an instant, the ghostly aura on the temptress rose sharply. Whoosh whoosh. After that, I saw those circling ghosts heading towards the temptress stomach in an endless stream. Ah, ah, ah. Whenever a ghost enters the temptress stomach, she seems to be shocked to a certain extent, and she screams horribly. The entire Dongyong village became overcast, with a strong ghostly aura covering the sky and the sun. This is a festival of ghosts, because a peerless ghost baby is about to be born. All the ghosts and ghosts from all over the world came to Dongyong village to witness this great moment with their own eyes. The extreme ghosts took the initiative to get into the belly of the temptress and contribute their own Weibo power. The face of the land god at the corner became more and more gloomy, and he was glad that he came to take a look. Otherwise, the consequences will be disastrous. I haven't exorcised ghosts for many years, I'm afraid I can't stay out of it today. However, the villagers in the lobby are still shouting, Gao Shang worships the gods, and asks the Snake King to come out of the mountain. The land cursed arrogantly, Wu Ji, the Snake King you worshipped was caught by the demon slayer 100 years ago and had cramps. Now even if you shout loudly, no Snake King will show up. When floods and mountain torrents broke out in Dongyong village, it was indeed the old Snake King of Tianqing Mountain who came out to save them from water and fire. But that Snake King has malicious intentions. It just wanted to cross the catastrophe, and wanted to take the opportunity to get some incense and body protection. Not really for the people. And this village, in order to repay the Snake King, would rather be abandoned by the court, and offer incense all day long. Little did he know that the other party had already left no scum left. The land god shook his head, shaking all over. Official clothes and hats were manifested on his body, and a daunting divine aura surged out. He wanted to kill the temptress directly before the baby ghost arrived. But suddenly, boom, boom, boom. In the courtyard of the temple, a deep and distant bell sounded. Chen Denganian, the old village head who was kneeling in front of the statue, was shocked and couldn't believe his ears. He stood up excitedly. Before my grandfather died, he told this old man that when the bell rings, the Snake King will come out of the mountain. As soon as the words fell, the serpentine statue on the altar glowed brightly, as if to come alive. Okay, the spirit of the land seems to have a feeling. It's a strong snake-like demon spirit. He raised his head suddenly, only to see a giant snake with purple and gold scales rolling up the entire Snake King temple layer by layer with its huge body. Its upper half is tall and overlooks the common people. The snake face covered with purple gold looks down like a god. The golden flames burning in the eye sockets were indifferent. Gives a feeling of suffocation. Who is calling this Snake King? As soon as these words came out, the color of the world changed accordingly. A mighty majesty filled the air, as if what appeared in front of him was not a snake, but a dragon descending. The new Snake King in Tianqing Mountain. The land god was very surprised. He didn't expect the new Snake King to appear in Dongyong village. Doesn't the other party know that he is being wanted by the Imperial Court, and the Demon-Slaying Division and the Immortal Division are jointly handling the case? Dare to go down the mountain. It is still said that the newly promoted Snake King is rebellious and will not let the Ming court in at all. Master Snake King is here, really here. Sure enough, sincerity makes spirit. Chen Denganian, the old village head, rushed out of the hall excitedly, and a giant purple and gold python was high above. Overlook everything. At a glance, people can't help but want to worship. Everyone, pay your respects to Lord Snake King. The villagers ignored the harm of the temptress, rushed out in black, and knelt on the ground. All the villagers of Dongyong village welcomed the arrival of Lord Snake King. The sound was deafening and exciting. No one is afraid of such a giant snake. Men, women, young and old, women and children, all have eyes full of awe and admiration. This is also one of the wonders in the world. But speaking of it, the villagers of Dongyong village have been indoctrinated with the idea of believing in Lord Snake King for life since they were born. If things go on like this, it will be understandable. Snake King. The temptress with a black ghostly aura all over her body looked up at the giant snake in shock. Amazed, she was able to come to Dongyong village because Dongyong village was abandoned by the human court. It can let her give birth to ghost babies smoothly. But the appearance of the Snake King in the mountain now caught her by surprise. The demon has always been a troublemaker and feeds on people. What's the matter? The Snake King in front of him eats fast and recites Buddha, so he wants to be an animal fairy protecting one side. Just a little bit, my son is about to be born. The temptress didn't dare to act rashly, but roared in her heart. The giant snake in front of him was naturally Lin Mu, who was summoned by induction and came down the mountain. When he appeared in Dongyong village at this moment, he understood what was going on with that secret call. It turned out that a group of believers who believed in the Snake King were praying for the Snake King to come. It's a bit like collecting all 7 Dragon Balls and summoning the dragon's feet. Lin Mu looked up at the sky, and saw that Dongyong village was covered with dark clouds, and countless ghosts hovered below. It forms a frightening scene full of ghosts. Between heaven and earth, there is only the sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling. Snort. Lin Mu snorted coldly, without further ado, opened his mouth wide. A fiery flame billowed out. The next moment, the cloud dissipated, and the ghost was burned to nothing. There was sunlight peeking through the depths of the clouds. Believers, tell your wish, no matter what it is, this Snake King can help you realize it. Afterwards, Lin Mu looked at the Dongyong villagers who were kneeling on the ground, and said it with evil humor. But the snake mouth opened, and the voice contained majesty. Passed down, it faintly makes people's hearts roar. With a trembling hand, Chen Denganian pointed at the temptress who was full of ghosts, and said loudly, I beg the Snake King to kill the temptress, so that the ghost baby will not be born to cause trouble for the common people. Every word of these words will be powerful, even shouted from the depths of the soul. This wish is too simple. As soon as the words fell, a ferocious snake tail that overwhelmed the river and the sea carried a majestic and terrifying power. He slapped the temptress with a devastating blow. The air along the way bursts inch by inch. The temptress widened her eyes and screamed again and again. No, my son is not yet born, I can't die. Boom. The entire Dongyong village was shaken by a magnitude 18 earthquake. The Snake King temple is crumbling. Then, a huge deep pit appeared, and the temptress returned to the ashes, and there was not even scum left after being smashed. Ha ha, long live the Snake King, the temptress is dead, our Dongyong village is alive again. Seeing this scene, the villagers cheered collectively. The temptress who can easily slaughter villagers is so vulnerable in front of the Snake King. The Snake King they believe in is a fairy, a god. Omnipotent. The god of land in the corner watched everyone rejoice, and he murmured to himself, this Dongyong village really has a relationship with snakes. The old Snake King is gone. I didn't expect the new Snake King from Tianxing Mountain to come. It's really a waste of time. The old man is in trouble. It's just, the land god frowned and said, the ghost baby in the temptress belly has become a big deal, and I'm afraid it won't die with the temptress. Sure enough, it wasn't long before the villagers were happy. But he saw gusts of piercing wind blowing out of the deep pit. Wow! A strange cry of a child resounded. Accompanied by the sound of crying, a baby covered in pitch black crawled out of the deep pit. The baby stood up slowly, showing a wicked smile. In an instant, a terrifying ghostly aura condensed like a cloud in the sky. It was dark. What? It's a ghost baby. The ghost baby is stillborn, the disaster has begun. When the villagers of Dongyong village saw the dark baby, they were as frightened as a bolt from the blue. The 3 souls are gone and the 7 souls are gone. Okay. Lin Mu looked down on the ghost baby crawling out of the deep pit from a high position. Said it was a baby, but the other party stood up to a height of 1 meter, with a big head and big muscles, a mouth with fangs, and a pale face. The ghostly aura on his body was unprecedentedly strong. It was a bit more hideous than the crazy female ghost that Lin Mu killed in Wolongtan. Under the chi watching technique, Lin Mu saw that the ghost baby's resentment was black to purple, and there was a phantom of a glutton roaring up to the sky above its head. Horrible. Gluttony, a symbol of greed, devours people, things, and everything. All living beings are its food. The land god concluded that this is a peerless ghost baby, not a lie. At this time, the ghost baby's pupils flashed greedy red, and its eyes were fixed on the purple gold giant snake who didn't know how many times bigger than itself. Its newborn calf is not afraid of tigers, and it laughed strangely. Big snake, you have such a strong energy and blood, it sucked you, this baby can really be promoted to the king of ghosts. Hearing this, Lin Mu is calm, he has no habit of talking nonsense. The ferocious and thick snake tail flashed with golden light, using the supernatural power to sweep away thousands of troops. Destroyingly smashed towards the ghost baby. The space along the way is extremely distorted, and the majestic power has not yet been smashed down. Just head start. Anxious. Wei Ying took his time and flashed on the spot. The speed is astonishingly fast. Not only escaped the snake tail of the terrorist force. In the next second, it appeared on Lin Mu's scaled snake's back. Ha! Peel off your scales, drill into your body, devour your flesh, drink your blood. Wei Ying said fiercely, bending down, holding a piece of purple scale armor with his hands like sharp claws. A ghostly aura boiled back and forth all over his body, brewing a terrifying power. Lin Mu squinted from the corner of his eye, not caring at all. Snakes have no hands or feet, and because of their huge size, if they meet a sensitive person, they will easily restrain themselves. Fall into a disadvantage. But after 4,000 years of Taoism, he comprehended a whole body of magical powers. Not to eat dry rice. The snake's eyes narrowed, not waiting for the ghost baby to peel off its scales. The whole body was on fire. Suddenly, it became a fire snake. Instead, the ghost baby became an ant on the hot pot. It rattled and screamed strangely on it, in a panic. The land god in the corner had a panoramic view of all this, and said in a deep voice, "The new Snake King of Tianxing Mountain is really capable. Not only can he control thunder and lightning, he can call wind and rain, and he can even cast flames. It's incredible, incredible. This is valuable first-hand information. After all, only by knowing yourself and the enemy can you win 100 battles." However, the god of land can't help but think now, should he report it to the town god's temple immediately? After all, the Snake King in front of him was arrested by Emperor Mingxuan. Both Gongxianxi and Yaojianxi wanted to seize the opportunity and monopolize the credit. But if it is reported now, the Snake King will not say whether he can be apprehended, but one thing is certain. Then Dongyong village is finished. This village not only gave birth to peerless ghost babies, but also regarded the Snake King in the mountain as a god, willing to be a servant of demons. It can be said to betray the human race and the imperial court. If the Snake King in the mountain hadn't come out of the mountain, there would still be a place to hover. But the current situation is that the monsters are colluding, and it is a certainty. As the parental officer of the suburbs, the god of land couldn't bear the fact that the village did not die at the hands of ghost babies. Instead, he was annihilated by the court. After some thought, the land god decided to take a look first. At the same time, his old man also had a strong interest in the new Snake King in Tianxing Mountain. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.